So our first speaker up is Joe Tucker. He's currently a corporate account executive at Demandbase. Demandbase are one of the Sales Confidence sponsors. His title is What is Your Why? And he started his career in luxury hospitality. Then he moved into a sales role before joining Demandbase, where he's been since 2022. He started at Demandbase as an SDR in their Michigan office. So you might notice his accent. And then he moved over to the UK office and started in Bristol the other year. He's recently been promoted to a corporate AE, where he continues to go from strength to strength. Big round of applause for our first speaker. Let's go.
Well, that corporate yacht party sounds pretty fun. How's everyone doing tonight? Love it. All right, well, I'm going to try to keep my phone out. Hopefully I can remember all of this. But hey, guys, how you doing? My name is Joe Tucker. I'm a corporate account executive with Demandbase, and it's an absolute honor to be able to speak with you guys tonight. You can probably tell from my accent that I am not from around here. I'm from Miami, Florida originally. Was living in Detroit these last couple years, but yeah, I just moved to Bristol last June, so it's been a really awesome transition so far. Everything's more walkable here. The weather's really consistently raining. You guys get way more vacation days, which is really cool, and you're actually able to use those vacation days, which is like another cool thing on itself. It's kind of tough to do that in the States, but enough about that. Enough about me. I have one big question for you guys tonight, and that question is, I'm sure you probably guessed, but what's your why? Why are you guys doing this? You know, the SDR role is extremely tough work, especially in this economic climate. What do you hope to gain? Is it recognition or promotion, money? I mean, we all love money, so let's take that as an example. All right, what's behind the money? Maybe you want to buy a new car. Maybe you want to take your mom on a really nice vacation. You say, hey, Mama, thank you so much for raising me. Maybe you want to buy your partner an engagement ring. Or maybe you just want to pay your bills. Or maybe you're like me and needed money to hire an immigration lawyer so you can file for a spousal visa and move your entire life over to the UK so you could be with the love of your life. Whatever your why is, the sooner you have one, the sooner you're going to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And I think although that light might seem far at times, it's absolutely and unequivocally attainable. You just need to start believing that anything is attainable. I started my career outside of college in luxury hospitality. I was working for a brand called the Four Seasons. Maybe you've heard of it. And I'll tell you what, I was working there for 7 years, and I never felt more stuck in my life. Although I had the pleasure of being able to check in big names like Carlos Santana, Venus Serena Williams, Pharrell. I had no savings to my name. I had 10 vacation days a year, and I had no time to use them. I felt like I climbed up the wrong corporate ladder, way too high up that I wasn't able to make my way back down. There wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel for me. I felt like I was pretty stuck. I had a fixed mindset at the time. The moment things started changing for me is when I started having a growth mindset. Now, probably like a lot of you guys, I didn't know what tech sales was or what B2B stood for 2 years ago. All I knew is I wanted to change. My really good buddy, Patrick, he started working for Microsoft outside of college, and the way he made tech seem was just so fun. So when I noticed I wanted this change, I just started applying, and I probably applied to 300 different companies, and no one called me back. And I had to stop and reflect and ask myself, why isn't anybody giving me an interview? I mean, I got management experience at this point. I'm a fast learner. I'm hardworking. I mean, look at me. I'm a catch. But every job that I applied for required one thing that I didn't have: B2B sales experience. Okay, so after Googling what B2B stood for, business to business, that's an easy one, my next Google search was, how do I get the sales experience? And wouldn't you know it, tech sales boot camp adverts started popping up left and right. No money down, they'd say. We promise you a career that pays over $70K a year once you finish this course, they'd say. The caveat? Well, you just have to pay us back $10K once you get that job. or any job, as long as it pays over 45. And you're like, wait, what? I think this is a scam. And even if it isn't, I don't want to be out 10K if this doesn't pan out. But then my growth mindset kicked in and said, Joe, you can do this. And when you do, that 10K is going to be water under the bridge. That 10K is going to pay dividends over time. You're going to have a new career that's transferable to the UK, and you're going to be way happier doing this than in hospitality. So I did it. I signed up for a 4-week crash course, and I learned everything from what it takes to be an SDR to get interview ready. And I'll tell you what, that 4 weeks was tougher than the actual SDR role itself. And it wasn't because of the workload or anything like that. It was because over that month, I had to change my mindset. My imposter syndrome, I'm sure some of you guys have probably felt that before. It just kept creeping in. My I don't want to do this because I've never done this attitude just kept pulling the emergency brake. I had to rebuild myself. And I think it all kind of starts with up here. Now, I had to remember what my why was. I had a long-distance relationship with the love of my life, and I was honestly determined to get over here, do whatever it took to do it. Hold on a second. I think I got to pull my notes out. Sorry about that, guys. So essentially, I had to remind myself what my why was. I had a long-distance relationship with the love of my life, and I was determined to be with them. And the last thing I wanted to do was move to a new country and feel stuck in hospitality again. I was determined to end that. But first, I had to change my mindset. And trust me, if I can, anybody can. I mean, look at me. I've never been an SDR before, but after 12 months of being an SDR with Demandbase, I ended up winning SDR of the year. 12 months after that, promoted to AE. This is kind of nerve-wracking. Now, I'd be lying if I said Demandbase didn't play a massive part in my ramp time and my success, but how that all happened was mostly thanks to my why. My why was why I was so hardworking, so dedicated, so organized, why I invited friendly competition, why I wanted to learn from the top dogs and figure out what they were doing to win, why I completely avoided complacency. I didn't want to give Demandbase one reason not to let me stay with them and grow my career when I decided to tell them I was moving to England. But my why changed when I finally made it to England last June. I already reached my why at that point. I'm finally with my wife, thank God, in the flesh, full time, and it's crazy. I got to pinch myself every day because I'm finally able to see her face to face rather than face to FaceTime. Long distance is tough, flying over across the seas. And I guess what I'm just trying to say here is sometimes you have many whys. Other times, all you need is one. But you guys are all going to need something, especially if you don't want to be an SDR forever. And don't get me wrong, like I just got promoted 2 months ago. I loved being an SDR. You will always be an SDR. The skills that you gain today are invaluable. They're going to carry on with you for the rest of your career. But I needed a new why at this point. You're going to need a why. And my recommendation for you is, put your head down, keep your nose to the grindstone, and keep pushing. Be the best version of yourself every single day. Never settle for mediocrity. And just put a couple extra hours in each week. I promise it'll pay off. Just trust me. Your future self will thank you. And before you know it, this why of yours will be within arm's reach. And then you'll have it. And then you're going to have to figure out another why to keep you motivated. Because change is the only constant. What's your why?